Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here with another episode of Fire Force. So, things are starting to heat up around here, right? And no pun intended. We do see Sho finally go into his rematch with Shinra. Well, I say rematch. I guess the real official match right now, right? And things are going just about as expected, especially with Sho's OP powers of literally manipulating time. You know, I have my guesses as to what that is, but we shall see if that is true, right? And also, it seems that we're going to be learning a little bit more about the Adolla thingamajig, right? It seemed that Sho, right before the end of last episode, pulled Shinra into sort of like another dimension, right? And I have suspicions that that's probably going to explain both his abilities as well as the secret behind this Adolla thingy. Right, so anyways, let's just cut the intro and get right into the story. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, hello. Haven't seen you in a while. Are we gonna get some new lore? It seemed this happened 250 years ago, actually. As we've learned from last episode. Huh. They still say Lato. That's... Oh, directly under the 198 years. Hellfire. Right? Because of the Adolla link. Wow. Yeah. Hey. Should you really be explaining this much to him, though? Oh well. If it suits you. Anyways, let me skip this real quick. See you guys in a second. And back. You don't look like Hellspawn. Is it really on that large a scale? But not literally the entire universe, right? Oh, yeah, I think this is about time for a tactical retreat. Unless he can maybe heat himself up, right? uh. Ooh. It's lucky he didn't break his neck. Hmm. Lost his concentration? Oh, forced to link with him? I still don't get how... Is it a good idea to have a deep connection with that world though? Like if that's the world that the evangelist... Yeah. I actually don't understand what Sho is actually trying to do here. Like, it doesn't seem like he's trying to kill Shinra, right? I think it's because he wants to capture him, because the evangelist wants him. Worst it. No. If Shrill wanted to kill him, he would have killed him long ago. Hmm. Ooh. Ooh. What? Did he break? Damn. How does that actually work? Lieutenant. Lieutenant Priest. Hmm. I guess he was too fast, he couldn't control himself. Yeah. But it was fast. But what does the Adolla link have to do with their memories and whatnot? I... So Shinra's literally the Flash now. Ooh. Even before he could see, you know. Well, I like how Shinra is basically just getting more and more hurt all by his own. Well, no, you need mass for that. Ooh. Woohoo! Dang! What does feelings have to do with everything? What? How in the world does that work? Wow, it is on it. Oh, never mind. Ooh. Now there. And more to the point, this seems to be right playing into the evangelist's hand. Like... Ooh, he isn't human. So is he a demon? Ouch. I don't think it's just a problem of overheating. Right, he needs to bring him back. Let's not. Never mind. It's a shonen fantasy. I'm not gonna get too hung up on it. I wonder who's going to intervene here. Like obviously the evangelist doesn't want any one of them to die. He has more plans for them. Well, I guess we'll find out later. See you guys after this. Alrighty, so that was a classic shonen type of cliffhanger. I thought about it a little bit more at the very end there, and I feel like the logical thing, this being a shonen, would be for Shinra to actually successfully, use his ability one last time to defeat Sho, right? And that is also how logically the scenario can play out, because we've still got some backup in the back there from the Ashen Knights, right? We got Yuna, and then we've got that also other girl who also possesses an Adolla Burst, right? So I feel like what's most logical would be for Shinra to defeat Sho, and then maybe in defeating him, exhibit some sort of unexpected growth or something, which would cause the Ashen Knight side to, call a retreat and reassess the situation, maybe report these new happenings to the Evangelist, right? Maybe this is something that they did not anticipate happening. It's not a case of them just wanting to beat up Shinra and that being it. It seems that the Evangelist has some other plans in regards to all this, right? So that's my best guess as to what's going to happen next episode. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this episode in particular, right? So a few things I want to mention. First of all, so we do see that, entire introduction sequence again, and so, with the revelations of last episode, I paid a little bit more attention to the, to the background and whatnot, and we can see that when the cataclysm happened, it was indeed affecting a modern world, right? We see skyscrapers and whatnot, so that is literally the same timeline that we are in right now. And yet they mentioned that 200 something years have passed, right, since the cataclysm. So it is a case where the technology level did not continue on, and humanity is still stuck at the same levels they were 200 years ago, right? So I think with that we can confirm this this right now, and I'm still really interested to see what the world looks like outside of Tokyo, but we're probably not going to be seeing that in this season. Another thing I feel like is probably of great importance as well, and once again, I'm not quite sure if I noticed this. Well, actually, no, hold on. That's not correct, because we did notice this before, and that is the people, the Ashen Knights, the ones on the Evangelist side, they also end their phrases, prayers, whatnot, with Latom, right? Which is, I guess, the equivalent of Amen in our world. So what does that mean? This means that they are still, from the same sort of theological same, they're worshiping the same deity in a sense, right? Or paying respect to the same deity. Now, granted, we do know of this before, right? Back when that other guy, the one from the first, who was gathering, kids and trying to turn them into, using bugs and trying to find those who had talent, or affiliation with the Adolla Burst or whatnot. We also know that he, when he spoke with the evangelist, he ended his words with "Latum" as well, right? But at the time, it wasn't quite clear to me, like, what exactly, like, it could have been a rogue faction within the church or something. And now we know that they are related to this Adolla thingamajig, which is sort of like the equivalent of hell. And yet, at the same time, they're still based on the same system, right? So that means they still have the same deity here. So I'm wondering if perhaps, my initial thought wasn't wrong, and they are still of the same belief system, except they have differing interpretations of it, right? A schism, if you will, within the church. So we got the Holy Soul Temple versus the, what the evangelist represents, right? And so this also leads me to believe that the emperor, the Pope, or those of the Holy Soul Temple, they probably know a lot more than they let on, right? In regards to this whole situation, they most probably also know of the Adolla Burst, Adolla links as well, and they know who exactly the evangelist actually is and what they're trying to do, right? And speaking of the Adolla Burst, so let's try to recap this a little bit, right? So the Adolla Burst is a hellfire, which is basically fire from another dimension, right? And an Adolla link would allow you to share your senses and share your memories. So this is what we can infer as of right now. So it is confirmed that all the fire and different abilities that Shinra and potentially all the other fire soldiers are using is really borrowed from this hell place, right? And yeah, the Adolla Link thing is definitely the most interesting aspect out of all of this. Like, why would Shinra forcing a link with Sho via his memories also allow him to utilize the blessings or the abilities granted by the evangelist, right? Now that there's definitely some kind of I guess some kind of deeper mechanism in there. I even wonder if this Adolla thing is something that connects all of humanity, right? Like, all humankind is connected somehow for within this sort of system, right? It's gonna be Evangelion all over again. Yeah, anyways, so still not really quite sure in regards to all that, but it is, getting definitely much more interesting now that we've really kind of sort of entered into the main plot, right? As for the actual fight itself, right, like, I'm not gonna talk too much in regards to physics of things. Like I said, this is a shonen fantasy. It's whatever, right? It's a shonen action fantasy. I'm not gonna look too deep into this. The humor here, I felt like, was used a lot better, and I'm trying to think why there's a difference here, and I feel like it's because this is literally not a it's literally not a fight to the death, right? Sho does not want to kill Shinra, and Shinra does not want to kill Sho. So putting a bit of humor in here makes much more sense than it does in the other kind of life and death situations. And also, when you're facing an opponent such as Sho, or one of these emotionless, nonchalant characters who really don't have any reaction at all, trying to stay calm and collected, this type of stubbornness and humor is exactly what the doctor prescribes to break through, their demeanor, right? So, I did enjoy the usage of that in this episode. And, Shinra, I'm always a little bit on and off about him. Like, I really don't... I still think, like, his entire... I want to save my family and I want to be a hero thing is quite cheesy and whatnot, but as a main character, he does exhibit a lot of, observing power, right? And actually, this is something that I've mentioned way back when, in like the first 1, 2, 3 episodes. He does exhibit a level of understanding that doesn't make him just a mindless, pure brute force type of character, right? It's just that, it's easy to get hung up on his other ideals and sort of childish behavior, right? So, we'll see, right? Like I said, the story is just heating up, and so are the characters, right? And so yeah, I do have to say that I'm enjoying this a lot more now that we're in this arc than we were in the previous arcs and whatnot. Although I guess those were necessary since he was gathering his teammates and whatnot. But yeah, I feel like actually getting to the main story now, I am much more intrigued by what's going to happen. Now, unfortunately, with that being said, I am not going to be able to watch this season to the end in real time. And the reason for that is because starting from next weekend, I am actually going to be on vacation. I'm going to be in Japan for my annual snowboarding trip. I typically go to Japan to snowboard for twice or 3 times per year. And this time I decided to go with my friends and spend New Year's there, right? So it's going to cross 2 weekends, actually. So I'm not going to be able to be on time to watch episode 23, nor am I going to be on time to watch episode 24, which is the finale. Then again, I will still, of course, be finishing them once I get back, but at that point, there is going to be a lot of backlog that I need to go over. Not to mention the new season is literally just about to start as well. So, but I'll still do my best to get these episodes out as soon as possible, right? So apologies in advance, but such is life, right? And of course, it's definitely not a situation where I could, even if I did have the requisite hardware, it's not really an option to record in Japan whilst I'm on my snowboarding trip. Right? So, it's kind of disappointing, I guess, for you guys, for me as well, but, well, that's just the way it is. So, anyways, I apologize in advance. Hope for you guys who still, like to watch my videos and whatnot will still stay till the very end. Once I do get them out, come back and remember to watch them. But if not, I can totally understand if you already, went over your Fire Force fix already and you're moving on to other things, right? No hard feelings, but it would be appreciated if you guys could continue to support the video. So, I will be seeing you guys in 2 weeks' time, I guess. Stay tuned, and, well, I'm trying to pre-record some stuff on my channel, some other out-of-season stuff, and if you guys do like my other content, feel free to watch that as well. If not, I hope I still see you guys 2 weeks later, and if not, well, it was a good ride, right? Anyways, see you guys, bye-bye.